Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to the 2008 mock highlights. On the pole for the Daytona 500 in 2008 would be Mark Martin and Jimmy Johnson on the front row leading us down. To take the green flag, you see Carl Edwards, Jeff Burton, Denny Hamlin, Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick, the defending winner, all take the green flag here at Daytona. The first lead change of the day will take place right here, lap number 2, as Carl Edwards, king of the concrete, would go by Mark Martin with help from Dale Earnhardt Jr. down the back straightaway, and that would give Carl Edwards the lead, and Carl would be one of the dominant cars for the rest of the race. The next lead change would happen here on lap number 7, as Jeff Burton would get a huge push from Michael Waltrip in the 55 car, and Jeff Burton would take the lead away from Carl Edwards and would become the second Chevrolet to lead at Daytona. Burton would lead to lap 12, and then Carl Edwards would come back to take the race lead away with help this time from his Roush teammate Greg Biffle. As you can see Carl Edwards right there getting a big shove from his teammate Greg Biffle, and that would put Carl Edwards to the lead on lap number 12 of the Daytona 500. The first batch of pit stops would happen at lap number 16, as Carl Edwards would bring a group of cars with him down to pit road. The next lap here would come the second and the biggest group would come in, led by Greg Biffle. Biffle would lead Burton and a few others, as one car would stay out. The one car that would stay out would be the 01 of Regan Smith, a Rookie of the Year contender. He would stay out and go one extra lap longer than everyone else to try to gain an advantage on the rest of the field. 20 laps into the 500, Carl Edwards would take back the lead after pit stops had cycled. Brian Vickers with a big jump in position gained, as Brian Vickers would come in and only take fuel only on this first pit stop. Him, Harvick, and Newman, Harvick, and Edwards all took 2 tires. The rest of the field back there took 4. Lap 21, Kevin Harvick would make a move to the inside lane and would take the lead away from Carl Edwards and take Chevy its third lead of the race with 3 different cars. One from DEI, the other 2 would be from Richard Childress Racing. Then a problem struck. Watch right here. Down the back straightaway, you're going to see, watch the 12 get a huge run. And you're going to see it actually into turn number 3. Watch the 83 car. Shoots up the track, and a tire is flat on the 83. The left rear tire is cut down after hitting a chunk of debris. Brian Vickers, who had that great stop that gave him all that track position, would lose all of it due to a flat tire on lap 22. Harvick continued to lead until lap 30 when the rest of the pack caught back up, and Jeff Burton, on those 4 tires he took on the previous pit stop, would take back the race lead and give RCR its second time leading with the 31 machine. We are back lap 32. Dale Jr. would bring Harvick, Newman, and McDowell to pit road with him, and in a gain to try to get track position. The next group of cars will be led by Edwards. It's Edwards, Hamlin, McMurray, Casey Mears, Scott Riggs, Bobby Labonte, and Michael Waltrip would be the next group of cars in on lap 34. Lap 35 would be the time where Jeff Burton, Greg Biffle would come down to pit road and try to get tires. Lap 34, Biffle, and then would bring most of the field down. And the final batch would come in on lap 26. It would be Kurt Busch, Bill Elliott, Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, Regan Smith, Patrick Carpentier, and Mark Martin. That would be the last group of cars, besides one car that does stay out. The one car that stays out the longest would be Jimmy Johnson, trying to win in the Jimmy Johnson Foundation colors. He would get caught up in a lot of traffic right here, and then he decided to come down pit road on lap 37. A big shout out here, maybe one of his last 500s. Bill Elliott was leading on lap 37, and then you can see Greg Biffle and Jeff Burton would use the power of the Chevy and the Ford to get to the race lead. This would be Biffle's first time leading a lap in this race, and will be the second car Roush had that would lead at Daytona. Burton would pass Biffle a few laps later, but then Carl Edwards, back on the main charge with a big head of momentum from Junior, would get the lead back from Jeff Burton. With 10 laps of racing to go, Carl Edwards would take the lead in the 500. Harvick, with a little bit of help from Edwards' teammate McMurray, would get a huge run and would take the lead away from Edwards 2 laps later. McMurray right behind pushing. Kevin Harvick will take the lead with just a couple laps remaining in the 500. Later in the run right here, lap 44, 2 laps later, Dale Jr. would push Greg Biffle to the race lead. At Daytona, the fans were on their feet knowing that number 88 National Guard Chevrolet could win the 500. He won the shootout Saturday night. A lot of people were hoping to see the 88 win the 500. And then it happened. Down the back straightaway, Kurt Busch with a huge push would shove Dale Earnhardt Jr. as the fans would go crazy. Off of turn 4, the fans are going mental as Dale Jr. would come around and lead the 500, looking for a second with just a couple laps remaining. The race coming to 3 to go. Kurt Busch with a huge push from Scott Riggs is going to push the number 2 Blue Deuce by Dale Earnhardt Jr. You can see Jr. still battling. This was a decent little battle. Jr. had a good car. Riggs went up to work with him. Denny Hamlin, who secretly said he had the best car in 2008 Speed Weeks, was really hoping to get up there and try to push Kurt, which he does. Kurt Busch would take the lead down the back straightaway. You can see Jr. still there battling with 3 laps of racing to go. Coming to 2. They're going to catch lap traffic right here. This is where this race gets exciting. Kurt Busch would go up, throw the block on Jr., kill the 88's momentum. Here we come. Coming to 2 laps of racing to go. Clint Bowyer in the way. Kurt Busch goes to the outside. Bowyer cuts across the nose, and the big one strikes. Denny Hamlin will avoid the big one. You see, there's Jr. involved, Newman, Clint Bowyer, Kurt Busch involved. You can see Biffle involved. Regan Smith got a piece of it. Newman and Kurt Busch would have the worst damage of the 2. Going back to the front of the field, Jr. running second. Coming to the yellow and white flag here in 2008. The guy who secretly said he had the best car in Speed Weeks would come around to take the yellow and white flag, and Denny Hamlin would win his first Daytona 500 here in the 2008 season. And here it would be coming out of 3 and 4 down to the final time. Denny Hamlin is going to come across and would win his first 500. You're going to see the flagman throw the checker flag in his hand.
Daytona 500 champion.
Go on to win his first Daytona 500.
Denny Hamlin has scored his first career Daytona 500,
scoring the first Toyota win in the Daytona 500.